With the release of the newest DLC, or should I call it expansion, for City Skylines called Sunset Harbor, I'm here to show you some of the features that you can play in this DLC. First of all, I want to show you this new city that I made using this expansion called Raindrop. Here we have a fishing village which has an actual city center with some high density here, and it has several industries. It has the agriculture industry here, it has the forestry industry here, the oil industry here, and the fishing industry here. This is one of the main additions in this DLC, or like I said, you could call it an expansion. When we go to this tab, Garbage and Industry, there is a fishing industry tab. You can use the fishing routes. Once you place a fishing building, you can choose where these little fishing boats are going to go and do fishing. Now, depending on the building you build, you can get several different results. With the regular fishing harbor, you just go for the regular fish. But then you have the specialized one, the anchovy fishing harbor, the salmon fishing harbor, the tuna one. The fish farms actually give you the highest yield, but they need to be kept really clean and the water cannot be polluted in any way. The fish farms are actually these small buildings which you build on the coastline, and they give you these 3 places where they actually grow the fish. This means that you do not have a fishing boat going anywhere, but only these 3 places where this building actually makes the fish. Alongside this, you have the Algae Farm, which does something similar, but you do not get fish, you get these algae. And then, of course, if you go to the last building of these, you have the Seaweed Farm, which of course gives you seaweed. All of these work together to create a fishing industry. You have the fish market where you can sell these fresh fish directly to the consumers, or you can make a fish factory like I did here. In this building, the fish is going to be packed into something that's actually consumable, and these goods are going to be distributed around the town to your commercial zones. As you can see, my little town is made where the commercial zones are everywhere. They are wherever there are residential buildings, there are small pieces of these commercial areas, and this is where the fish goes to. So you do not really need to import that many consumer goods. As you can see, I have very little import of goods. This is because my local shops are supplied by my fishing factory, and the rest of the fish can be sold at the fish market, where you can see last week there was 110, well, I'm guessing fishes, or yeah, just fishes sold here. This is where the teams can go on their own and buy their fish. Now, I didn't connect these because I'm just showing them off to you, but these two are working rather well. The fishing harbor and the shellfish fishing harbor, as I said, you have to place these fishing paths where they're going to actually send out these ships, and you require a longer path to have better production. So with these snake-like paths, I get 100% from the fishing harbor and 91% from the shellfish fishing harbor. When it comes to the city itself, I have already shown you a lot of the ways I deal with traffic, and in my previous video I showed you how to build these streets next to each other where you do not have back-to-back zoning, but actually each street just gives off one zone on one side of it, and I prevent the zoning on the other side by using the path system. Also, I make these elevated paths so that each of these districts can be connected to each other without actual streets going vertically through these horizontal streets. This is all something you can see in my previous video, which I will link up here on the right and in the description below. And if you are interested to see how does this highway system interwoven like this actually works, you can see this also in one of my previous videos where I explained the whole system of having interwoven highways, where you have a highway which goes underneath the other one, and just like hugging snakes, they turn into each other and then change the direction. So vehicles do not need those huge interchanges to actually choose which side of the city they are gonna go to. Once the highway changes the side, they can go over to the other side of the city, and this way the highway goes through the center of the city without actually needing any special ways to get into the city. Now, another addition with this DLC are the trolleys. You can build a trolleybus depot and then set out the trolleys using their special trolleybus lines. We're going to find a trolley here somewhere and then follow it as it makes its round through the city. You can see that they are yellow, which is kind of great color for them, and you can have several of them at the same street. You can see that my trolleys are quite used, and there is a lot of folks here waiting for them. Now this one is 30 out of 30, and that means that I should probably get more of these on this line. And if we go here, you can see that already 366 sims are using these lines, and I can get more vehicles on the ones that have a lot of passengers. So over here, if I zoom in, I can make sure that this goes up to 10, and I can do the same on any one of these just to make sure that there are more vehicles and that these teams have a way to travel with these trolleys, and like I said, it's a great addition to the gameplay. Now another addition are these helicopters that we now can use, and they're set up in the air transport. Now first of all, you need a helicopter depot. I'm going to place one here. You can see here that once it becomes operational, it's going to dish out helicopters, but you actually have to have places where these helicopters are going to stop at. So you need helicopter stops. Now because I use one of the mods that allows me to stop a street from being zonable, I have to let it be zonable again in order to build one of these helicopter stops, for example here. Now I need another place for this helicopter to go to, and let's say I choose this place here. So of course again I need to enable zoning here so I can actually build it. Now that I have two of these, I'm just going to dezone these streets again and show you how the connected network between these two is going to work out. In order to connect these two buildings, I have to use the helicopter paths. I have to create these in the air so that they know where to travel through. And then if I go over here, I can finish this up with here and then go down again. I can add another one up here just to have another place for the helicopters to land to. And all I have to do now is do the helicopter line. So I start here, go to this building, go down to this one, and then finish it back over here. So now we have a helicopter line, we have a helicopter depot, and we have a helicopter pathway. Now when I enable the game to run again, this one should spawn helicopters as it is doing right now, and we can watch these helicopters actually take the flight, and we're gonna go cinematic if possible. There we go. So now we can enjoy peaceful helicopter rides above our cities, and this traffic is going to allow for less usage of roads, which is something that we all want when it comes to the terrible traffic that we can have in this game. Now as you can see, it is going to land here, and let's see if anybody is going to be able to use it right away. Probably not, because it seems haven't figured out the usage of this. It says boarding, but yeah, nobody's boarding at this moment. So the helicopter is going to go towards the next stop. We're going to let it do its thing. Now another additional thing that is interesting in this expansion are the hubs. You have the bus intercity bus hub, you have the bus metro hub, the metro intercity bus hub, the train metro hub, and the metropolitan airport. Now because this requires a lot of transportation network to be built, in order for me to show you this, I'm going to do this in another video. Some more additions are the large water tower. I already have placed two here. You can see that they give a lot of pumping capacity for fresh water. These buildings will allow you to get your water not from the rivers, but actually from anywhere on the map. It's a welcome addition. Another building that is really cool is the waste processing complex. This building requires first for you to build a waste transfer facility, which acts like a garbage dump, but it doesn't actually collect the garbage here, it transfers it over to the waste processing complex. The waste processing complex takes all that garbage, creates power out of it, and even some goods out of it. Another building is the Eco Advanced Inland Water Treatment Plant. What this is actually an advanced version of something that you unlock first. So you get the Inland Water Treatment Plant, which allows you to actually dump processed sewage onto the ground and create ground pollution instead of water pollution, which is a welcome addition to the game. Then you have the Advanced Inland Water Treatment Plant, which just increases the capacity, but then you have the Eco Inland Water Treatment Plant, which creates less ground pollution. And currently for this size of the city, I have two of these Advanced Eco Inland Water Treatment Plants, which means that they create ground pollution where they are, but they do not create any water pollution. And this is something you want, because the fishes won't be fishable if you have a lot of pollution. And the last additions to the game that I want to cover are these buildings. The Eldercare, a building where your elderly will take time and then be treated if they need it. And also the other building, the Child Health Center. These are required for your children to get treated, and they also increase the birth rate in your city. So you should be able to place any number of these, and they have a really large area of effect. So placing just a few of these will increase the birth rate in your city, meaning that your city will grow faster from its own people rather than wait for the immigration from the region. There are also some other additions to the game, like the inner city bus stations, the terminal, and also the metro stations, where you have the metros on the ground and the elevated kind. So now you can have three types of metros, but like I said, I will go into the transportation part of the expansion in another video. I'd like to thank you for watching this quick overview of the expansion features in this newest DLC for City Skylines. Sunset Harbor, and stay tuned for more videos as there is a lot more to get into.